If you're positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless our space. If you are negative, you better get up on our faces.
Period.
Yay.
Bippity boppity.
Cleansing smokes.
Boo.
Cleansing smoke, cleansing smoke, cleansing smoke. Sending that all your way. Here you go. Welcome back. Yay!
Yay! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Witches and Weebs Witchy Wednesday. Hooray!
Hooray!
As y'all probably already know by now, and if you don't, welcome to the channel and welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, I am Azari.
And I am Space. Nice
And
to meet you.
Today, as per the name, we will be talking about Witchcraft 101. Hooray! And we will be talking about the tools for apprentice witches. Now, they are by no means required, but these are just things that witches typically use within their practices. And Space is gonna lead this episode because she is the intermediate or expert witch, and I am simply just the apprentice learning.
I would say intermediate. Let's just claim it like it is. I'm the intermediate. I know a lot of knowledge, not a lot of practice. That's the...
Space is the senior here between the two of us of Witchcraft, so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So what I'm going to talk about largely is the directions and their correspondent to the elements, and then what represents those elements, what you can bring into your practice to represent those elements. So first things first, we're going to talk about the direction of east, because when you typically this depends on like who did what research and who is talking. Some witches like to cast circles, some don't. And some of the things that are associated with witchcraft, such as cauldrons, athames, don't ask me how that's actually pronounced because I've heard it several different ways, so don't know. But those are associated with Wicca, and that's its own thing. We don't really talk about that. However, I can understand the idea of having a knife to cut your herbs with that is basically just used on your altar. It's your special knife. It's your ritual knife. I can absolutely understand tarot users associating east and air with ritual knives because of swords.
Right.
Totally makes sense. So I think that it really depends on what that witch does in her practice already for what represents what.
Okay.
Now, east is typically represented by air. And so for air, you're going to want to do something like a bell, a feather, an incense, of course, because smoke in the air. Specific herbs are also, you can use those because once they're burned. Feathers are also a good way. I really love a good feather. I love a good feather.
I had
and again,
feathers.
tarot users might associate this with ritual knives. And I also actually have a ritual knife because I want something to be able to cut the herbs that I've dried specifically myself. And it's like its own special little area of... I don't use it for anything else other than stuff that I use on my altar.
That's how I do it. I've got a mortar pestle on my altar, and I only use it to grind the herbs that I grow out on our balcony. I don't use it for anything else.
I also have a mortar and pestle that is specifically to my altar. Doesn't get touched for anything else.
Literally.
So then we move on to south, and that is represented by fire. And so candles.
Naturally.
Genuinely any kind of fire. It doesn't have to be candles. You could just burn a piece of paper. Ta-da, you got fire.
Mm-hmm.
Also burning charcoal pieces that you find at some of the little mom and pop witch shops that I love to go to. That also represents fire, can represent fire. Tarot users might also represent this with wands or staffs because of tarot and fire. So that is where Wicca gets its wands and staffs from.
Okay, so in terms of fire and air with incense, because the incense, even though it's actively burning, there's no actual fire there. So I guess that would not be considered fire, and that's why incense is an air, because it's literally emanating
You're breathing it in.
Right.
That's why it's representing air. You can't breathe in fire.
I mean, you could, but you'll probably die.
Yeah, I mean, that's very, very, very true. You'll most definitely die. And I do want to preface this that none of this is required. You don't have to shop for any of this. And truthfully, this is all stuff. I dried these myself from a bouquet my husband got me of roses.
Oh, so cute. Love it.
Okay? I never bought these. My husband bought these fresh, and I was like, I have a use for these. So, and these are from the dollar store, $1.25. I don't spend a lot of money on my craft because I don't have a lot of money.
Walmart.
And it's taken me many years to get these cards, and a lot of them have been gifted to me from my husband for Christmas. So, again, this is a collection over 5 years so far.
Right.
And I don't even have nearly as much as I would like.
We said before in another episode that when you're first starting off witchcraft, you don't have anything. Everything that you see that a witch has is things that they have gradually gotten over time. Nobody says, I want to do witchcraft and then go. I mean, I can't say nobody because I'm pretty sure that some people do, but most people don't
with the
go
money,
out.
sure.
Yeah, most people don't go out immediately because they don't know what part of witchcraft appeals to them the most. They don't know if they like crystals yet. They don't know if they're an incense user yet. They don't know if they like herbs and spices. They don't know any of that. So there's no reason to go out and start buying all of these things and you have absolutely no idea how to use them. And now they're just taking up space in your area and you kind of just wasted your money on things that you absolutely don't know what to do with. So just be mindful of that.
That's the thing is most witches, the most they'll start buying is books.
Right.
When they first start
tools.
The first start is always, I will say, is books. I should have mentioned that first, actually. The first tool that you want to start looking at is books. Just buy books. And
even if you can't buy books, make sure you go to your local library and find some books that appeal to you.
My little tiny library right in this little town that I have actually has a bunch of witchcraft books. So if you happen to be in a bigger city library, we'll probably have quite a bit. But you'll probably get a couple spirituality books here, a couple witchcraft books, and just start reading. That's your best bet, is to start reading, and you'll get ideas of what interests you and what tools you will want to buy eventually. And that's why all of these also have different... air isn't represented by one thing. It's represented by multiple things and can be represented in different ways, such as with ritual knives through tarot users who would associate that with a completely different thing than any of the other ones. You notice that they all have different, multiple ways of being represented because there are multiple different ways of practicing. Mm-hmm. So one witch might like sound, so she uses a lot of bells. She's gonna have a bell to represent air. She probably won't have like a fan or a feather. Wouldn't be very fitting.
Right. Everything is not one size fits all. Everything is eclectic. Whatever fits you and is most comfortable for you is for you. That does not necessarily mean that it will be for everyone else. And this is why we are very, very strongly opinionated on being eclectic, because you can take from everything and fashion something into specifically your thing, which is why books are a good reference tool, but not an actual, like, I have to do this and I have to do
exactly.
that. You do not also have to do it.
Take within reason. Don't take from what is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and then for North, which is represented by Earth, this is kind of given. Salt, soil, crystals, anything from the earth, it can represent the earth. Even my husband makes me, he grabbed me this really pretty rock and was like, I think you'll like this. And he was right. What can I say? a rock can represent earth on your altar if you wanted to. Tarot users might also associate this with pentacles and have a pentacle on their altar as well. I do associate this with, as somebody who reads tarot, I will say I associate a lot of tarot with what is in my practice.
Right.
So I use knives, I have a wand, I have a pentacles, and I use cups and a chalice in my practice. If you do not use tarot in your practice, then you probably won't use those things. You'll probably do the more traditional style.
I am an earth girly. Hi, I'm a crystal bitch. What's good?
Fair enough. I have rocks on my altars. I have crystal on my altar. I use it all. So, and West is represented by water. That is, if you are probably more Wiccan in nature, you'll associate this with a cauldron. But I also just really like cauldrons because they're great to burn incense in. Cauldrons are great.
You can literally kill like 3 birds with 1 stone in a cauldron. You've got fire in there, you got water in there, you got the air. Like, it's so good.
So, but this can also be represented by a chalice or a bowl, or, you know, just regular old water. You can get a cup of water and set it under. Ta-da, you got water.
Hey, sea witches. We love y'all.
And lastly, I also like to talk about the element of the spirit, because duh. So this can be represented by a mirror, a crystal ball, a goddess statue, any kind of statue to a god, or pictures of your ancestors. So anything that represents the spirit that you associate with your practice. If you're an ancestral witch, then put up pictures of your ancestrals. If you have a goddess, put up a picture of that god or goddess. Put up a statue for their god or goddess. If you're anything else, because divination, scrying, or mirror would be great.
I have a picture of my mom on my altar over there, because that is my goddess.
I have a picture of my husband's grandma that he loved and wanted to venerate, and we're gonna venerate his father his father figure who just passed as well. So those are the common tools that I would associate with witchcraft. You can also use a broom to cleanse your space, like a regular old broom, not the funny witchcraft broom, like just a regular old broom. Cleanse your space with the broom. That shit works really well. And always sweep to your door. Sweep towards your door.
What was it? I heard don't sweep before the new year, or don't sweep on the new year, because then you'll be sweeping out all of the good luck from your home.
Fair enough. Could be true. Jars, containers, of course, any kind of thing to hold your herbs in. Duh, anybody needs that. You always notebooks.
Oh yeah.
Book of Shadows.
Oh.
Grimoire, notebooks.
Oh, don't get me started. Hey y'all. I have a lot more than just these. So yeah.
How many of those are used? You got any with empty pages, bitch? The fuck?
None of them are empty.
Damn.
None of them are empty.
Damn.
They're not full, but they're not empty.
Fair enough. Chests, boxes, because you can use boxes for manifestation boxes and wishing chests. They're also very great for storing ingredients, storing your stuff if you want to put it away for the year. Crystals, stones, duh, you always need a good crystal.
Right.
And take the usage always as very lightly.
It is not required, but it's common in practices.
Is common in practices. I recommend the use of a mortar and pestle to crush herbs and other ingredients for spell work, and it's really good for blending, like when you are have a bunch of different herbs and have to grind all of them together. I feel like it helps you put your intentions in those herbs all at once very easily.
You got the energy stirring in the mortar and pestle when you're grinding up all of your herbs and spices in there.
So I really want to remind you guys, when we talk about these tools as apprentice witches, tools are used to direct and manipulate energy or to communicate with the universe your intentions. While witchcraft can be practiced without tools, absolutely, and only our intentions and personal power, when you're starting out, it kind of can be easier to use tools to direct your energy.
Right.
Because you have something to look at. Absolutely follow your intuition and only use the tools that you feel comfortable with. Because some of them will not be for you. If you're not comfortable around knives, don't use a knife.
Right.
If you're not comfortable around swords, don't use any kind of like double-edged pocket sword or whatever.
Yeah, don't use no serrated sword or nothing.
That is perfectly fine. You can represent air with other things. If you don't have a specific tool, if you get a little spell that you want to craft and you don't have the specific tool for it, substitute. That's all that matters. So long as the intention is there, you'll be right. Some tools are specific to specific regions, and don't borrow them without knowing if it's open or not.
Right.
Like the singing bowls that everybody loves to use, that I also love to listen to and would love to own one, that are from Tibet. Buy them from somebody who is Tibetan and not some white woman named Margaret.
Margaret's clutching their pearls right now, feeling called out.
I know, right? Oh my god, I'm just kidding. But make sure that it's ethically sourced and from somewhere that actually supports that religion and those practices. The Athame is from Wicca. If you're not Wiccan, you don't need to use it, and you probably shouldn't be because it's appropriated from other religions anyway. So, yeah. Anyway.
If you're Wiccan, that's great. We are not shitting on Wiccans, however, because of some religions in Witches and Weebs, Wiccan is not often associated with us.
And will not be, please. That's all I ask. Make sure you're borrowing from something that you can borrow from. That's all I ask. Because there's plenty more tools out there that I don't use. And I will tell you the things that I have gotten at the dollar store. Because that's where I get most of my witchcraft from.
Right.
Oh, there's also those little... do I have one here? I think I do. I do. Okay, let me get up. These little bags, I use them to create spells. Little satchels and stuff. You can buy them at the dollar store. You can also buy like fun little seasonal decorations for your altar at the dollar store if you celebrate stuff like the solstices and the different equinoxes and the different seasonal of your area, whatever your area might be or whatever your practice might be, because that's different depending on it's really good, easy to get like fabric that matches that's gold, red, whatever.
Right.
Cups, they're great for chalices, like fancy little wine glasses you can get to put your water in. Because my chalice is a fancy little wine glass that I got at the dollar store. They also sometimes have really cool glasses and cups and mortars and pestles.
Right.
Great place to get cheap salt.
Not salt that you're ingesting, just salt.
Yeah. Yeah, it just needs to be salt for an altar. It doesn't really need to be any specific type of salt. You can get sea salt, you can get Himalayan salt, you can get black salt. Doesn't matter. Great place to get cheap herbs because you can get just get the cheap herbs from the dollar store, dude. You don't need to get the fancy dancy herbs when you're first starting.
Expensive does not mean better. Just because it is more expensive does not necessarily mean that it will carry out your energy better. If your intention is stronger than whatever you're using, it does not matter how much it costs. It will all still do the exact same thing.
Absolutely. So long as your intention is true and your actions follow through with your intention, you'll be good. Also great place to get the little tea light candles, any kind of candle really. I get this at the dollar store, but I also get the tea light candles for quick little spells that just need a little element of fire in them.
Right.
Birthday candles are also a great thing to use if you're doing something for your birthday. If you're doing a spell for your birthday, do a birthday candle.
Make a wish, blow it out. There's your spell. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so books are your best bet to start with. That's what I would always recommend an apprentice witch start looking at, is just getting a lot of books into their pockets. I've got 2 right here that I will recommend.
I have that one too.
These 2.
I have that
Always.
one too.
As well as quite a few of the other ones in the collection. There's a collection of these resource books. I would do quite a few of them, actually. I would recommend you look into the collection and pick out a few of them. I can't remember all of them off the top. It's like 14, dude. Some of them are quite questionable. I believe there is one on Reiki, and I'm like, question mark. Who's that written by? But the other ones are pretty just great resource books. It's a great overview to get started. And again, this is a great just correspondence if you need something, because this book has power. A lot of people have it. A lot of people believe these correspondence. So in my chaos magic thinking, because this book was written, it gave all of these correspondence powers. So anything in this book works. A lot of people believe this book and reference this book and keep it on their shelves. So, and of course, I mean, obviously get yourself some tarot cards if you want.
Right. And again, we said this before in another episode. You can buy your own tarot cards. Whoever came up with this whole don't buy your own tarot card thing because they're not going to work, they have to be gifted to you. No, they don't. If a tarot deck feels like it's calling out to you, then buy the tarot deck. Don't assume that if you buy your own tarot deck, you won't be connected to it, because you will, as long as you take the right steps to be connected to them.
Yeah, sleep with it under your pillow. Do an interview. Talk to it more. Ask stupid little silly questions. There's plenty of ways to get attached to your tarot cards that are not being gifted. And my thing is about the idea that things have to be gifted is like, how do people know? Like, how do you tell people that you want to read tarot cards? So can you gift me the tarot cards? I'm like, gifts are supposed to just be the person noticing that that's what you want. And if you're not in a place to talk about witchcraft to other people, you could go years without ever getting gifted cards.
Right.
Years. And that's just mean. What other tools of witchcraft would I recommend, to be honest? I think I covered most of it. I mean, another tool of witchcraft is honestly making your altar look really cute so that you want to use it. Getting decorations, getting fun little items. Like I have this little thing on my altar that has a little skull that hangs off of it, and I just think it's really nice and cute and makes my altar look nice. For no other reason than that.
Aesthetics are not important, but they're nice. You know, when you see something that looks nice, you want to do more with it. You're inspired by how it looks because it's like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I must interact with it some more.
Like, I have all my boxes for my tarot cards, even though all the tarot cards and all my oracle cards are right here on my desk where I use them most often. All the boxes are on display above my altar because I like them and they're pretty and the art is gorgeous and the art is what called to me, so I wanted to put it on display. So making your altar look cute and look nice and be aesthetically pleasing can help you want to use it more often.
This is true.
You look at my desk. I don't know what else to recommend, to be honest.
We did basically talk about everything. Books.
Literally.
Atames and swords, crystals, jars.
Oh. I want to mention that you could get literally feathers and a lot of these things directly from the outside. To represent Earth, you can get soil directly from the yard. Just say please and thank you, and the Earth will be happy. If you need a feather and you find a feather on the ground, I have found several. Just say please and thank you and take the feather. It's there for a reason, and it's probably for you if you were looking for a feather.
Nothing is coincidental.
Like, I don't think anything is coincidental, even if it's like, I say we just did numerology and talked about angel numbers and being like, one is a coincidence, and then was like, nothing is coincidental. But this is a point of where nothing is coincidental. You're seeing that 111 because you might be beginning to see a pattern.
Right.
So you're seeing that feather because it's supposed to be for you. So there's things that you could find just out and about for you.
The world is your personal For You page. If it's for you, it will be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If it is for, holy good. That was a great thing to say. It is really your For You page. If it is for you, it will come to you. As I've said, like, if it could have happened, it would have happened.
Right.
So there is no I should have done. I should have been this. I should have. No, if it could have, it would have.
Exactly. We don't look back. We always look forward. What if doesn't matter. Happened already. Keep going.
Yeah, it's like your what if it doesn't matter. You can daydream about that all along. It doesn't matter, dude.
It's not going to change the fact that it's already happened and the outcome of it is already there.
You just have to move forward. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else tools to talk about. I pretty much covered everything real fast.
Yeah.
I didn't cover like any of the history of the tools and what they'd be used for, but I mean, common sense and I did actually. I just didn't talk about the history of any of them.
I mean, if y'all have questions on why is this used here and why is this used here, when did this originate, then we will be more than happy to do a video about that. But for now, we're just talking about the tools and how they're used.
And how to do east, west, north, and south through the use of tools in your practice. So, and again, spirit as well. I always forget about spirit. But yeah, if you want more, like a more history lesson of these tools and why they're used is the way they're used, then I would be more than willing to do that. But that's pretty much it for what tools you can use in your practice as apprentice witches.
As you can see, there are not many things that are required to be used in witchcraft, and you don't even have to use anything. You can just open your mouth, think of the intentions, speak it out loud. There's your spell. You are the most powerful resource. You are the most powerful tool when it comes to witchcraft. Everything about you is the most powerful tool. More powerful than a crystal, more powerful than a candle, more powerful than a sword or a thummy, whatever they're called.
More powerful than the cards, more powerful than your books,
your
more
cauldron, your
anything.
wand. You are the most important, most prominent, most powerful tool in witchcraft. Just saying.
Absolutely. Spit. Completely. Anything that you use is just a way to direct your energy and make it easier on you. Like, I personally love using a wand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just a little bit of a nerd and want the little Boop.
Right? I just
Who can blame me?
come on. It's like the cute little nostalgia. Bippity boppity. I'm casting magic, and you are casting magic, but you're not. You're doing it practically, not animated. Like, yeah, look at all these sparkles coming from my wand. I'm magical.
Like, you can use your wand to trace over the sigil that you drew to add more energy to it and direct your energy into the sigil. Things like that. But none of it is required. It's just you. You just need to be you. You just need to exist as you.
Yep.
So everything else is just bonus and help, just to make it easier for you. So remember, books is where you want to start, and from there, take what you will out of those books and make your own practice.
Do your research. Research is also one of the most important things in witchcraft. In any sort of spiritual witchcraft, anything, research is the most important thing.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Ignorance is not bliss. Whoever said that is a liar, because why would you want to be blind to everything going on in the world around you?
Knowledge is power, and witchcraft is all about reading. 90% of witchcraft is reading first, and 10% is spellcraft.
Because I will be the first to tell you, those closed practices don't play at all.
They were like, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, no, those closed practices don't play. So if you are going to appropriate, then you better be ready to face the repercussions of whatever deities are part of that closed practices, especially voodoo. Them voodoo deities do not play. So don't fuck around with voodoo, please. For the sake of you, don't do it.
So just lots of research. It's lots of research first and foremost. And then you can have fun with the little fancy aesthetics and bells and whistles and fire and candles and salt and crystals and fancy bowls.
If it's an open practice that you are interested in, that you feel comfortable doing, go ahead. If it's a closed practice, but you know somebody, no touchy unless someone is willing to initiate you into that practice.
Yeah, that's the difference. You can be initiated, absolutely. So,
but you cannot initiate yourself. It has to be from someone who is also part of that practice and has been part of that practice.
I want to say that Book of Shadows is Wiccan and grimoires are witches. However, I do like the idea of a Book of Shadows. So, it is what it is.
You do not have to label a religion on yourself.
No. Book of Shadows, they consider it more of a journal of... just a journal. It's just a journal of your path. Every day you take a little couple notes of like what you did yesterday to get yourself closer to your religion or spiritual path. And the grimoire is more a how-to book. It's your spells. It's your correspondence. It's what your angel numbers mean. It's what, if you did your own tarot cards, it's what those tarot cards mean to you. It's what your colors mean to you. It's what you've decided your practice is. This is your finalized book. This is what you would pass on to your next of kin if you wanted them to practice. Your Book of Shadows is something you probably never want anybody to see because it's all your mistakes in your practice as well. Mm-hmm. So that gets tucked away.
That is why it's the Book of Shadows. And what is your shadow?
Yes. So, I do have to say that altars are more of a modern day thing rather than a traditional witchcraft thing, which we'll talk about next episode, because I do like having an altar. I like having a safe space. Witches in their olden days would have probably just had their whole house as a safe space.
Right.
So I think that in modern day, having a safe space where all your stuff is cleansed and ready and safe in its little spot is really good because we don't really have those spaces for ourselves. So while altars are not traditional witchcraft, I don't hate them, and they're good, and they could be used. And I think that we should have them.
Again.
Because again, witches in the back day, they would have had their own space, and they would have had, their whole house would have been a protected haven for their witchcraft.
Their
We
whole
don't have
house
that
is
luxury.
a big ass altar.
Yeah, their whole house would have been the altar. So I think that it's not a bad practice to have an altar. That's all. Those are the most things that I needed to say.
We are eclectic.
There's not-
We can take things and we fashion them to how we like them. I cannot stress this enough.
Absolutely. We are eclectic witches. We are our own coven that we are deciding what we want to do together. So we're happy to have you on the journey with us.
We are building a new breed of weeby witches.
Absolutely, because I love using fandom shit to develop my altar. Like, I have a bunch of little Gojo toys that I have decorating it because that's just what I want to. And I mean, technically it's an ode to a very powerful being.
We pray to
Anyway.
Gojo Satoru.
Yes. I'm just kidding. No, I don't.
She's down bad! Y'all saw it here first!
I'm just kidding. No, I don't. Not like that.
My girl got on her hands and knees like Gojo Senpai!
Ugh. Just for the record, that makes my fucking, I just want to like crawl up my fingers and cringe. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about for today. That's it.
It was beautiful. A great reference.
I wish you guys could hear my clapping. Oh, you can. Okay, it is coming through on my OBS. Perfect. But yeah, so that's it. Witchcraft 101 for your apprentice witches. Those are the tools that you might want to use in your practice if you so deem it interesting enough. But again,
by no means required.
By no means required. But my first and foremost recommendation is books. That's it.
Right. Just because Susie over here has all these crystals,
or if you want to be a little
spices.
PDFs. No one said you had to pay for anything. A lot of my favorites are just PDFs. It is what it is. But Mia, you want to take us out?
I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted.
I'm so sorry.
You should be, thank you. Just because Susie over here has all of these tools does not mean that you have to have all those tools. And that does not mean that Susie is a better witch than you are. It just means Susie has the means of getting these things if you do not.
Absolutely.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yep. I cannot stand thumbs up of approval.
I've got a ton of crystals, but that doesn't mean that I'm any better than anyone who doesn't have crystals.
I wish I had more crystals.
I love crystals.
But
anytime I see a crystal,
I just like shiny rocks.
Right, it's shiny.
I literally could care about nothing else. If the claw. That's me with shiny rocks. They're just great. It's just shiny rocks. Do they make me feel better? Maybe. I don't know. It's spicy psychology, most of it.
They make me feel better.
Having shiny rocks is great.
Even if it's a placebo.
The fact that I have shiny rocks. That's what I mean. Even if it's a placebo.
It's working. You're believing it. And that is the power of the mind. That is why placebos exist. To show you how powerful your mind is.
A lot of people, yeah, it's just power of the mind, to be honest. Just power of the mind. So, please enjoy this little episode that we crafted to you. Mia, do you want to take us out?
Yes. As per usual, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you are notified of when we are uploading new videos. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that we are in the month of March, probably.
Yes. I think when this one comes out, it'll be the month of March.
So for March, we've got so many things that we're gonna have our Kabbalah episode out. We're gonna have numerology. We're gonna have color magic. And then we plan on having an episode where we're just talking about what we're gonna do with Witches and Weebs moving forward, what we're gonna add more to our arsenal. As Space said earlier, we're gonna be talking about altars. We're gonna talk about human design, and that's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna talk about protection magic, and then Space and I are gonna watch an anime called Signs of Affection, and we will be
taking our
reviewing
notes and
reacting to that too.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna watch it, we're gonna binge watch it and take notes, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Because we want to watch a little bit more anime in the background. So.
Right. And right now we've got Apothecary Diaries active right now. So if you are interested in watching that with us, we do have some of them up on our YouTube channel. We've got the first season that we binge watched, and we are currently watching the second season that had come out in January. So again, like, comment, subscribe.
They come out a week after it goes live.
Exactly. Yeah. We're watching it live, but we're putting it a week after just so people who haven't seen it yet can catch up with us, because that's just how it is. So yeah, we're excited for that. We've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff. And
I'm very happy for us.
Me too. Okay. Remember, everybody, please practice wisely and practice safely. May all of your positive affirmations and manifestations come to fruition. And we gonna see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.
See you next week. Stay mystical, motherfuckers. Goodbye. Mwah.